How's that? That was good. Part 2, everybody. What do you mean wait? You should already be ready. Hey, don't forget we're videotaping, so please do not say and or do anything weird, Jonah. All right, we were right here. Pseudostratified columnar epithelium. I do want to show you something. Here's one. Here's one. Here's one. Here we go. I want to show you something, and this is where you want to look, because some of these cells are actually behind each other. But look right here. Here's the basement membrane. Right there, that's connective tissue, okay? Notice that this cell comes all the way down and touches the basement membrane. But if you look at this cell, it goes from the top, it comes all the way down and touches the basement membrane. But because the nuclei are staggered, it looks like there's 2 rows. Does everybody see that? Yeah. Because all of the cells touch the basement membrane, it then becomes pseudostratified columnar epithelium instead of columnar. Does everybody see that? It's not technically stratified. It's pseudo. It looks stratified, but it's not, because all of the cells touch the basement membrane. Now, this is an easy one. That's why I started with it. Now, we're going to stay under this heading. Don't change headings. Sometimes there's an addition to this tissue. Boom. Check this out. So this is also pseudostratified columnar, but there's these little hair things. Does everybody see these little things sticking up? Yeah. I can't write on there without the pen. That was funny. There's all these little hair-like structures sticking up. Does anybody know what those are called from 7th, or I'm not 7th, 8th or 9th grade? What's that? Those are, were you here yesterday? You heard this.
No, it was what?
You heard it.
I said that. Yeah, he did say
Those are called cilia. And don't forget, cilia is a cellular extension that can actually move.
Don't like those little things with the tails have those.
That is, well, the long tail is something else, but in this category. What do you call the long whip-like one? Here, I better get on camera. The long whip-like one. What do you call that from 8th grade, 9th grade?
It starts with an F.
It does, it's flagellum. Very good. So the short ones are cilia, and the long one is a flagella. But this tissue then gets a new name. This is called pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium. So write that right underneath the subset in your notes, and then I'm going to add something else. So we have pseudostratified columnar, then we could have pseudostratified ciliated columnar, and in a lot of places where you find this tissue, you're going to find another cell. It is called the goblet cell. You are done? There you go. All right, I can go back. Although we put this on YouTube, you can just hit pause. Okay. Did anybody watch the one from yesterday yet? 3 people
No,
did.
'cause I hate
Well, at least 3
voice.
people clicked on it.
I have a question.
Shoot.
Does it only have the ciliated whenever it has the strands?
What do you mean when it has the strands?
Like the little strands on the top?
The cilia are the little strands.
Okay.
They're one and the same.
Okay.
And then when I add this next cell, I'm going to put it all together and show you why they're there. It's really cool. Are we ready to move on? Okay. Sometimes you can see this is pseudostratified epithelium. See how they're staggered? It looks like 2 rows, but it's not. Sometimes sitting in, there we go. Let me get my pen. Sometimes embedded in the tissue is an additional cell called a goblet cell. You see it sitting in there?
It's a big board.
Yeah, it looks like a big giant urn, right? Like a big pot.
It's where we're going to put your ashes.
Goblet cells actually produce something in the epithelial tissues they're found in. Does anybody know what they produce?
Oxygen.
No.
Water.
Starts with an M.
Mitochondria. Oh, then.
Remember, these are liners and covers, liners and covers. This would be a lining producing something that starts with M that you all know.
Maltose.
Incorrect.
Magnesium.
They do not produce magnesium, no.
Don't tell. Can we get a vowel?
You can. I'll give you a vowel. I feel like Vanna White up here.
Muscle.
They don't produce muscles.
Mucus.
I heard it.
Mucus.
That's correct.
Oh, Scurb. You know what? Last
They
night.
produce mucus. Last night, go ahead.
Last night, I got out of the shower and I actually looked up what mucus was made out of, because I was curious.
What's it made out of?
Water and proteins and DNA and some other.
A little bit of
weird
salt
thing.
in there.
Yeah.
Definitely a little bit of salt.
Yeah.
Okay, now listen. You'll always see this stuff. It's called. No, you can come. You can come on. Oh, Autumn didn't want to come on stage. She's running around the back. There you go. She's out. Anywhere you have an opening to the outside world, it is lined with mucus. Now, there's a couple of things it does. One, it's for hydration. It prevents these linings from drying out. That would be bad. That would be bad. But furthermore, where you find it, mucus actually has a sticky quality to it. Now, where are you going to find pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium with goblet cells embedded, like all three together? Watch. What'd you say? My man, the upper respiratory tract. Respiratory refers to lungs and breathing. Now let's put a few things together that you should already know. Does anybody know the scroll-like bones that stick out from the lateral surface? Those are concha. They're scroll-like, they're curved. So when you breathe in, what does that curved bone do to the air?
Swirls it.
It makes it spiral like a tornado, right? It makes it spin. Now you guys know, if you've ever been on a merry-go-round at the playground, going really, really fast, and you let go, where do you go? Shoo, you get thrown to the side. It's called centrifugal force. You get thrown out. That's on purpose in your nose. So your nose, the back of your throat, your trachea, and your bronchial tubes, the first split, are all lined with mucus by way of this epithelial tissue. Now wait a second. If the mucus is sticky and the air is spinning and throwing debris off to the edges, what happens to the debris when you breathe in? It gets stuck in the mucus, which is good. Now here's the problem with the mucus. It then acts like fly paper, which is very effective, until the paper is completely covered with what? The fly paper is very effective until it's fully covered with what? Then it's not sticky anymore. So you have to find a way to renew this mucal lining so that you can continue to trap debris. Because listen, there's only one thing your lungs hate worse than airborne debris. What is it? Water.
Pneumonia.
It's the only thing they hate worse. There can't be things in your lung. Now, am I saying things don't get in your lungs? I'm not saying that. But this is designed to minimize it. So we need a way to get rid of this mucus. Hey! I present to you, can you see the little tiny little blurry little things right there? Yeah. Look, oh, yeah. Those cilia, I'll be on camera. They do this all day. Ready? They go like this. They go like this. Because cilia can move. So the cilia actually are doing what to the mucus? They're sweeping it. Which way? Up. And then it gets to the back of your throat, and then what do you do with it? You wish you coughed it up.
Eat it.
You swallow it. Yeah, probably anywhere between 2.5 and 3 cups a day. Yeah, can you imagine like 3 coffee cups full of mucus and your mom said, okay, drink up. And then when you get sick and you get a chest infection, you could launch that up into the 8 to the 11 cup range per day.
Okay,
Can you talk?
I
but then-
already know that I swallow mucus because I have allergies, but like you don't need to. I don't need to imagine.
Most of us don't even realize, like, you just think that extra saliva that's in your mouth that's keeping you, and you just, but no, it's mucus that's being swept up. Now, obviously, it's not 1 cup at a time. It's just a little bit at a time. Now, why would you want to send this mucus to your stomach? Why is that a good idea?
Acid.
Aha, the pH is 1. So if there were bacteria and viruses that got caught in the mucus and you send them to your stomach, in most cases, that acidic environment would do what? Kill them. Yeah. Pretty cool. Oh, you're getting sick. Yeah. The immune system is good, but it's not.
Is that how you get
It's
the
not
stomach-
perfect.
Is that how you get the stomach flu?
Yeah, that's from people around you. Or listen, most of you get sick by putting your fingers in your mouth. Just, I'm telling you. If you don't do that, you're good.
I don't put my
And
fingers
do
in.
not lick the tables at school. That's weird. Don't do it.
Wait,
You can't do that.
didn't you say some mucus
Okay,
comes from
nobody-
your eyes?
What's that?
Didn't you say some mucus comes from your eyes?
Those are tears. That is not mucus.
No, like you know,
Wait, but I
you said
thought-
you
yeah.
swallowed gunk in your eyes, like the other
You
day.
swallow gunk in your eyes.
No, because it's a big circle.
Your eyeballs can't swallow.
No, no. I'm saying like something gets in your eyeballs. You eventually like you'll swallow like it.
No, it
Swallow
just
it.
depends on
If
the
there's
degree.
debris, it goes through the tear duct, which does dump in the top of your pharynx, yeah.
Yeah.
But not mucus.
Isn't that why we have ibuprofen?
Well, that's when you get bacteria. Your eyes are killing those bacteria, and then they pile up. The dead bodies pile up, and then they jam that duct, and then it crushes your eye, and then your eye gets locked, and then you're like, "Oh my God, I can't see! I can't see!" And you're
You
like,
mean
"Nah,
like-
you can."
You mean like when you wake up in the morning
It's
and your whole eye is crusted,
crusted over.
You're like,
That's when you know you got an eye infection. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Any questions about that type of epithelial tissue? All right. Now we have the basic foundation. All we're going to do now is practice identifying tissues. Are you ready? We're going to practice. Now I'm going to help you out for a little bit with the line. Okay. Here's the basement membrane, roughly.
Are we putting
This is all connective tissue. Put the guesses down in your notebook. Put them down. Well, guesses on the other paper, real answers in your notebook. So what were we on 6?
Yeah.
Let's say this is 7.
Wait, this
No,
is.
wait.
No, this is six.
Okay, this is 6. Okay, put 6 down. We're just going to guess what these tissues are. You have all of the foundational content you need. We're just going to learn to identify. So the tissue is this way. The epithelial tissue is this way. So can you guys see, most of the time I present the micrograph right side up. This one is flipped, but it doesn't change. You work from the basement membrane this way. You have 10 seconds to write down your guess. Don't write it in your real notes, just write it on your guessing paper. And then I'm gonna select a person to take a shot at it. And you can't say, "I'm not answering." Yes, you are. And when you do answer, make sure it's good. I'm not on camera.
I can't
All right, you can't see, it's right there. You need to come up closer. This is why you put the kiddos behind the camera. All right, I'm gonna go with Grant on this one. Grant, what do you think this tissue is?
Stratified, ciliated, squamous. epithelium.
Incorrect. One extra word there was not correct. Well, was that Jonah raising his hand to go? I'll go with Biff on this one.
stratified squamous.
This is stratified squamous epithelial tissue. Stratified squamous. Now you can see the cells down here are cuboidal, but you can definitely see that they are flattened out at the top. Okay? Well, when I say the top, down here. Stratified squamous. There is no cilia on this one. All right. Next one, number 7. And I will do. Here we go. There we go.
Where is the tissue?
I'm not going to answer that question. I will tell you this. Keep in mind, everybody, that epithelial tissues do not have a lot of extracellular tissue, so the cells are packed close together. Guess what you don't see a lot of on the inside of this? There's only a few scattered nuclei. That's the telltale sign of connective tissue. It's on the other side. The other side. Thank you, sir. I'm going to write a new song. Better late than never.
Yep.
Period 1. Getting yourself together. Okay, I'm going to go with Jaden on this one. What do you think this is, Jaden?
I said the pseudostratified column.
It is not pseudostratified.
Is it just one?
It is stratified columnar. It is stratified. Yep. Because you can see these two nuclei right there. See, they're stacked on top of each other. They would actually be side by side and staggered. Very good. Not pseudo. You got me to say it. Stratified columnar. Next. Okay, we had this one before. This is a different micrograph, but we've had this one. There we go. Go. Take a guess. Go. All right, I'm going with Haley on this one. What do you got?
Simple cuboidal.
That is simple cuboidal epithelium as you would find it in your kidney. Simple cuboidal. Very good. Next one. Boom. I'm not gonna show you the basement membrane because I think it's really obvious here. I think it's obvious.
I don't think I'm sure.
What's that?
I don't think I know.
Remember, epithelial tissues, the cells are packed closely together. Liners and covers.
Were you trying to mess with my fucking master up here?
Well, listen, I accidentally wrote it here, and when I opened it, I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna let it. That'd be funny to get kids spending.
How are you on 10?
I bet you if I put a star by Okay, I'm gonna go with Hayden on this one. Hayden, what do you think?
I put simple columnar.
That is simple columnar epithelium. Absolutely. Simple columnar.
Where's the transitional ones? How do you know that?
Well, I said we were not going to do transitional ones because when you do transitional with a freeze frame micrograph, you would not be able to see that it was in the transition. So I would have to run multiple photographs, which would tip it off automatically if I showed you multiple photos. You know what I mean? So visually identifying transitional will not be on the exam, but the content will be. So I'll ask a couple questions about it, maybe one.
You should have a pop quiz on just this.
Pop quizzes have no assessment value whatsoever.
Then quiz.
So a teacher that does a pop quiz has no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, free.
That's on camera. Whoops. Whoops.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
You have to.
You're giving everything I'm dead. I don't know.
What's that? No, I'm not in. No, that's okay. That'll be part of my podcast anyway. I'll do a lot of educational stuff once I retire and say whatever I want. Okay, here we go. Now, this one's identifying where the connective tissue is, and then this is the tissue. Notice,
Goblet cells.
aha, that should tip you off. Go, you got 5 seconds. I'll give you 6. 7, let's make it 7. There are definitely goblet cells embedded in that tissue, for sure. And I would look right here to identify this tissue, right about there. That's the other tricky thing when you're doing histology. You gotta know where to look. And in college, that'll take practice. You'll have to go to the lab and look at lots of microscope slides. Although you guys have the internet.
How do you write if there's a goblet cell, like,
You would not write that. You would not write that.
okay.
That be in your ear? Your ear have goblet?
No, you actually have special glands in your ears, not goblet cells.
Can you just
They don't
there's
produce
goblet
mucus, they
cells
produce something
in
called
your
cerumen.
That was ear.
And the glands are called ceruminous glands. They're actually modified fat glands. So that it's super non-polar, so the water gets in your ear, comes out very
Oh,
quickly.
is that one?
Because you do not want water against your eardrum. Okay, I'm going with Bria on this one. What do you got here? This is pseudo-stratified columnar epithelium. It is not ciliated. There are no cilia on this one. Pseudo-stratified columnar epithelium, which is where you generally find goblet cells. So that's a good tip-off on the exam.
Wait, okay, never mind.
Pseudo-stratified columnar. And again, while we do the practice here, you should be self-assessing with the people that live in your head. Am I seeing what he's talking about? Am I getting what he's saying? Because you will have to identify these on the exam. And there'll be micrographs you haven't seen. Next one. Okay, now this one's a little bit tricky. Watch what I'm gonna do, okay? I'm gonna put a line where the tissue is. Ready? Right here. This isn't the basement membrane. This is the tissue. This is where I want you to look. Look where I'm tracing. I want you to look right on that line. I want you to look right on it. Okay? You see where I want you to look? You got it? You got it? Look right where that line was. Go. You get 10 seconds. Right where the line was. You move. Right where the line was.
What?
This is one of those ones when you see it, you go, oh, that's what I'm looking at. Looking. So here's where I would look at. I would look at that purple thing, and 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 that one, 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 and that one.
I thought we were supposed to look on the inside.
No, right where I drew the line is the tissue. Right where I drew it. All right, I'm going with Melee on this one. What do you got?
Simple squamous.
This is simple squamous epithelium. One layer of flat cells, and you can see the nuclei are all flattened out. One layer of flat cells, all the way around.
So what's the stuff on the inside?
This is actually an alveolus in your lungs, so this is where the gas exchange occurs. So those are blood vessels coming in. All right, next. Boom.
Wait, so I'm confused why it's simple.
It's only one layer of flat cells. One layer.
Okay.
So when you get out to these other cells, this is other types of tissue out here. Okay? It's just the liner of that cavity. That's all it's doing. Okay, next. I'm not showing you where the basement membrane is. I think it's actually identified here. Remember, lumpies go down. Lumpies go down. All right, I'm gonna go with Jerry on this one. Jerry, what do you got here?
Stratified squamous.
That is not stratified squamous. Jonah,
Stratified cuboidal?
that is stratified cuboidal. 2 layers of cuboidal cells. And again, I would agree with you, not all of the cells are perfectly cuboidal, but I can see a couple of them that are fairly cuboidal in there. 2 layers, very good. Next one. Okay, this one, this is a tougher one. Right here, this is all connective tissue down here. This is all CT here. The tissue I want you to identify is right there. And again, this is one of those ones like you would get in college where you have to look at the right cells to get it right. You're like, sir, well, which cells do? How do I know how to look? Yeah, I don't know. You'll figure it out. It's okay. Who have I not picked yet? I don't think I picked Mace yet.
No, don't do this one.
Why?
No.
It's okay to be wrong.
Pick Jonah.
What?
Yes.
No one cares if Jonah's right or wrong.
You don't want to go, Mace? You want to pick something else?
Pick Jonah.
All right, I'll go with Jonah. What do you think, Lynn?
Stratified columnar.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. Okay, the stratified part I think is pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
And you guys see there's multiple layers of cell. But here's where, if you looked here, you might say cuboidal, but you gotta look right here. Right there. There's another one. Because here's the thing, if they were all cuboidal, would there be any shape like a column?
No.
So that's where you have to look. This is stratified columnar epithelium.
When do you think
Well
this
done.
test will be?
Oh, this is a pretty big unit, so I don't know, 2 weeks from now probably. Okay. Anybody have any questions about epithelial tissue? That was the practice session. And then when we do the review game, I'll actually have some slides for the teams to try to interpret during the review game. Discard, I don't want any of that stuff. All right, so let's go back here. Boom. So now we're gonna head into my absolute favorite tissue. My favorite.
Probably your favorite because it's hard.
No, I don't think it's that hard. I don't think anatomy and physiology is hard. Once you love anatomy and physiology, it just flows right into your brain. Yeah. Connective tissue. Now I like this one because it is incredibly diverse. It's almost like it's the garbage category for every single connective tissue that doesn't fit into the other categories: muscular, nervous, and epithelial. Now, how is it diverse? Watch this. Not just structure, or maybe a better word is design. Ooh, I like that word. how it's constructed. Super diverse. And because of that, we also have diversity in the F word. Be careful. Function. And I want to start right there with a general introduction of function. Am I going to list all of the functions of all of the connective tissues in this next set? No, I just want I want you to get a feel for the diversity in this category. Watch. Boom. Function. Did you guys have all that? Or did I go too fast? Go back. You good? Yes? Now, there are two basic functions that I did in the general intro. Does anybody remember them, or can you look back in your notes and find them very quickly? Bind is one. Bind, connective tissue, that makes sense. Bind. And what was the other one? Did I not put it in your notes?
Support.
Support is the other one. So let's start with those. I'm going to go with bind. Bind means to hold together as a connection. We only switched words because you can't use the word to define the word. You can't say connective tissue is a connector because that's a dictionary faux pas. You can't do it. Now, there are two specific tissues in this category that actually intentionally bind things together. Can anybody name a connective tissue? Aha, ligament is one, tendon is the other. Ligament is one, tendon is the other. Now, here's the cool part. Those are the same tissues. They're the same. No doubt, in terms of cellular construction, the whole bit. And why is there two names?
Because they hold different things.
They hold different things together, my man. With that said, what does a ligament hold together?
Muscle to muscle.
Not muscle to muscle. Good guess, though. It's bone to bone. Bone to bone. That's what ligaments do.
That was cartilage.
Oh, no, no, no. Cartilage is found in the joint to diffuse force and prevent friction. Also a connective tissue, no doubt. It's actually categorized with bone. We'll get to that. Tendons. What do they?
Bone to muscle.
That is muscle to bone. But what's cool, this is the same tissue. If you blow out your ACL, one of the options, I'll get on camera, is to take a piece of the tendon that's on the side of your leg and then put it in your knee where that ligament used to be. You couldn't do that if they weren't what? The same. That's just one of the options. You can do a cadaver wrap. Sometimes they'll take tissue from you or somebody else. You can get a donator. It's pretty cool, okay? So bind. Now let's go with two, support. Put quotes around this one because when a connective tissue doesn't fit into the other functional categories, where do we put it?
In support.
Under the support function, right? We all, whoa, that was it. Okay, we'll pick up right there next week. See you next time.